What's up, everybody? Welcome to Couch Chats. I am Todd, and this is one of our newest staff members, Mark. He's from Michigan here. So what's going on, Mark?
Not a whole lot. How are you, Todd?
Good. How are you?
Good.
So Mark lives here in Michigan with us, actually in the same town as Heather and I. So tell us about yourself, Mark. Tell us what you do, what you like.
I'm Mark. I'm an agricultural technician for John Deere. I work on tractors, ag stuff like that. I love to hunt and fish. I'd say I do it all, but my favorite has probably got to be catfishing and then duck hunting. That's probably my two favorites.
Catfishing, really?
Yes, sir.
So where do you catfish around here? Okay, so first of all, I am not a fisherman.
Okay.
Yeah. There's more of the fishermen.
Okay.
I'm not the fisherman.
Yep.
And in Michigan here, typically catfish isn't one of the game fish that people go after.
Right.
They go after trout, they go after fish, they go after salmon, they go after steelhead. Where do you...
Well, honestly, the big ones that you see like on the internet, like that are as tall as the people holding them, I love to fight with those, catch them, take pictures with them, set them free. But the ones like this, kind of smaller ones, you pull those in, you fillet those out, tastes the same as a bluegill to me.
Really?
Yeah, I guarantee you I could put them in the same plate, mix them in with bluegill, and you couldn't taste the difference.
You ever eat carp?
I have, and I will never do it again.
So carp is not very good tasting. It's not a very good fish to eat. However, one of the follow-up session hunts that we went on was a bow fishing trip.
Okay.
We were down in Indiana in July. This is probably, I want to say between 5 and 10 years ago. It was a while ago. And we were just hammering the carp and getting the guy that we were with said he knew exactly how to cook it. We're like, yeah, right, it's carp. We're not going to eat it. Come on.
Right.
And he spent like the rest of the day filleting a ton of these carp.
Really?
And we deep fried them. Oh my God, it tasted like chicken. I know that's a cliche, but it tasted just like chicken. It was very meaty, very hearty. And
so it was good.
It was good, yeah.
Really?
And it was something to do with some kind of red vein. He said you have to fillet it around the red vein, get the red vein out, that sort of
thing. So I think I saw that when I filleted mine. I thought I saw a lot of red veins, though. I don't know. I just filleted it like you would a normal fish and cooked it up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is horrible.
So it was actually really, really good. And so going back to catfish, the only catfish I personally had, and I know there's a lot of viewers, and I know there's a lot of staffers within Follow-Up Session that love catfish. How do you cook catfish to get? For me, it was really kind of muddy tasting. It really was. So
I'll start with filleting. Sure. You fillet them from kind of the back of the gill, so they're like laying like this, right? You fillet them from the back of the gill like you would a normal fish. And then I'll let them sit in the refrigerator with cold water and salt. Dump that back out, and it's almost like purging. Have you ever heard of purging?
Oh, yeah.
It's basically you purge them, almost, the meat.
Okay.
But I do that, and then I'll grab some I like spicy. I'm sure there's other ways to cook it, but I like spicy. Sure. So I'll grab some Cajun kind of fish fry, the cheap stuff you can get at Walmart or whatever, and dip it in some egg and milk combo and put it right in the fryer just like that.
Do you find it to be more of a flakier or meatier meat that way? Catfish in general.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've eaten catfish. That's why I'm curious.
I would say flaky, just like a bluegill. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so in Michigan here, so obviously, catfish. Obviously, do you go after steelies? I mean, right now we're getting towards the end of the steelhead run. We're going to get into the brown trout real soon.
Right. I actually went on a trip 2 weekends ago. We did really good. I would go as far as to say they're probably one of the hardest fish to catch in Michigan.
Brown trout.
No, not brown trout, steelhead. I would say, and I don't do it that much. I'm sure there's other people that would disagree with me, but I think they just have, they'll spit that hook out faster than you can blink.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I've seen from my experience. But
I've never caught a steelie on the river. I've caught it in the lake when we've taken a charter out.
Yeah.
You're going after salmon, that sort of thing. We've caught steelies that way. But we do have a cabin on Pier Marquette way up north.
Mm-hmm.
They had a steelie run, and I think it was last spring. we ended up finding a bunch of steelies that had come up. Yeah, they're steelies coming upriver, and then they spawned, and then they end up dying after they spawn, so they're floating down. So it's kind of nasty when the fish smell and stuff. We're like, hey, yeah, there's steelies in here.
Yeah,
we just gotta figure out how to catch them.
No, yeah, and actually, you were talking about nearing toward the end of the season, and yeah, you're right. We were catching ones that were kind of getting white, that nasty color on the tails and the fins, and so usually when you see that, in my experience, that's kind of when you're nearing the end, when the last ones don't quite escape their river and start dying off.
Sure. So I have a question. So one of our other staffers, field staffer, Aiden, he's also from Coopersville, from the town here. Did you go to school with Aiden?
I did. I went to school with Aiden. He's a great guy. I've learned a lot from Aiden, especially in the duck hunting area. He's taught me a lot of what I know.
He is our resident bird hunter. And actually, Steely, I mean, he posted a bunch of pictures. He sent a bunch of content in with him hammering the steelies on the river.
Yep.
So, so anyway, brown trout. So brown trout coming up. We have, so Heather and I, we were on a mission. We have a cabin right on Pure Marquette, as I mentioned.
Right.
I can't even remember how long the cabin has been there. I'm going to say, again, 10 years.
Yep.
We've never caught a brown trout.
Really?
Never caught a brown trout.
So what do you typically catch?
Nothing.
Nothing?
And people are out there hammering brown trout.
Right.
We can't figure out how to fish them. Again, we're not fisher people.
Right, and yeah.
So it's just, maybe it's just a matter of us just not investing our time to figure out how to do it. Whereas like hunting, it just kind of comes natural to us.
Exactly, yep.
The patterns of the animals, and what to do in order to harvest. But fishing was just kind of it's something to do when you can't hunt. Yeah.
I'd tell you one thing, especially for ducks, that I found is like playing the temperature and the wind. Like, trying to think of how to word this. When the wind is blowing a certain direction, you're going to want to be, you really got to play. Well, I guess it actually is like deer hunting. You really want to play the wind duck hunting.
Duck hunting?
Yep.
Okay. So with duck hunting, I know Aiden keeps talking about taking Heather and I out goose hunting here. Mm-hmm. We've gone on the goose hunt. Mark was supposed to go with us on the snow goose hunt. Just didn't work out this year.
Yep.
Weather played a huge role in it. We do have something set for next year, so hopefully we'll get. Mark's actually the first person on the list. Andy and I are working on something here, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully in the future, but at any rate, man, goose hunting is just. I love goose hunting.
Oh yeah,
I love goose hunting, and the reason why I love goose hunting is, again, being able to hang out with staffers,
right?
Being able to get together with fall session staffers, just hang out and do your thing, right? And just get to know each other. Andy, I've known him for years, but being in camp with you and your dad, I've never met your dad,
right? Yeah.
So that would have been cool.
Yeah.
So it's and we were supposed to be with Jordan and her husband. I've never met Jordan in person.
Yep.
So that would have been a really cool thing. But those are the types of opportunities that come along when we have these hunts in fall session, and that's kind of what we missed out a little bit this year with the snow goose hunt. Andy and I were able to get up into North Dakota and hammer a bunch of geese. So I think you guys we did a podcast on it. Yeah. Yeah. We was actually down in Gulf Shores. And it sounded like I was in a can because we had storms going and all kinds of stuff going on. But yeah, it's a good time. And not only hanging out with staffers, but that adrenaline rush that you feel as a hunter. Ultimately you want to harvest species.
Right.
You want to get deer. You want to get elk. You want to get whatever it is you're hunting. But typically with that, when you get an opportunity to shoot something, you feel that adrenaline rush. Right. You let the arrow go or you pull the trigger and they're gone. That's adrenaline rush. Yeah. With geese, it's, you get a volley, but there's the adrenaline rush. Mm-hmm. You get another volley, there's the adrenaline rush. You get another volley, there's the adrenaline rush. I love that.
That's one thing, I guess, that trumps deer hunting for me. And don't get me wrong, I love deer hunting just as much as the next guy. Mm-hmm. But like, you can be, when things are slow and the duck or the goose blind, whatever, you can sit there and kind of BS with your buddies and cook breakfast. And where to deer hunting, you got to sit dead still, dead quiet, and the whole time. Yep.
Andy and I were, so the first day, it was actually about 50 degrees. By the end of that first day, the temperature had dropped below freezing. Mm-hmm. And we got an ice storm overnight. We got the ice storm that the UP, Upper Peninsula, got. and it actually shut down a lot of the Upper Peninsula. It was, a whole bunch of ice. We went out the next morning. There was ice everywhere. Ice everywhere. So we got a heater out there, and typically I don't use a heater in the deer blind because the deer can smell it.
Right.
But man, it was probably 16 degrees with a wind chill, but with the heater, it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
We were nice and warm, and we were able to start dancing about midday. We had tunes going. We were just cutting the rug, and so it was so fun.
Yeah.
So to your point,
exactly.
You could sit there and have this big long conversation.
Right.
I mean, oh shoot, there's
get down.
And you're still talking.
Yeah.
Whereas you see a deer, man, they might bust you before you even have a chance.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah. So Mark is a bird hunter, is a fisherman. What else?
Like I said, I love to deer hunt. Duck hunting's my favorite, but I love to deer hunt. I actually, this past year, I killed a 10-point opening day.
Really?
Yep, and that was probably my biggest whitetail of my life so far.
Opening of rifle?
Yep, okay. Rifle, I'm sorry, yep.
No, it's okay. Tell us the story.
Well, typically I hunt in this really wet swamp, and unfortunately my dad couldn't make it out this year. So I kind of hunted upland a little bit in kind of actually a field plot that we put in. I believe it was ryegrass. Okay. Yeah, ryegrass we put in. And I had about a yearling, so a smaller doe and then a mom doe out there. And I was watching them, kind of having a good time, scrolling on my phone, as we all do a little bit. Yeah. And and all of a sudden they keep turning their neck back and forth. And I'm like, what are they looking at? What are they looking at? And finally, I'm looking a little bit, and I just see this big body deer. He's kind of behind a tree, and he walked out of a tree a little bit. And I could just see the big horns on him. So the rule where I hunt is 3 on one side, and I saw that 3 on one side, and I'm like, all right, let's go. And I hunt. It's actually, we made it out of this oil can, this big oil drum. Mm-hmm. And so it's all plastic, and it's loud as heck. Mm-hmm. So I put it up there and kind of smacked it a little bit, and that deer took off about 15 yards. And I'm like, oh crap, please stop. And it stopped and turned broadside, and I got him right in the neck. He dropped right there. It was over. And then I gutted him out and took a couple pictures, put him in my truck, and kept hunting for the day.
Before he was a staffer.
Before I was a staffer, yep.
So you said you planted ryegrass. Do you try to mix it up every now and then, or
yeah.
Stick with ryegrass? What do you do in terms? Because we're actually getting into that season. We're into May right now. Like I said, we're actually getting to the end of turkey season here in a lot of states. So the next season would be food plot.
Right.
Would be getting our stands ready for our fall hunting and that sort of thing. So do you mix up your what you plant for your food plot?
Yeah, for sure. We do anything from beets to ryegrass to alfalfa, pretty much all over the board. It's really kind of what prices are within the year, but yeah, we definitely mix it up.
Gotcha. What has been most successful for you?
They really love the alfalfa.
Really? So interesting to say that, because Heather and I we planted a food plot during COVID 2020 across the street over at CHATS, because we were bored, had nothing to do, right? Mm-hmm. So we're looking for projects. We ended up tilling a whole bunch not a whole bunch, but a little area that's perfect for bow hunting area. You go from one end to the other, it's 80 yards, but we kind of left some trees in the middle of it for cover, and we set it up specifically for bow hunting. And we planted radishes, we planted alfalfa, we planted a whole bunch of. It was a big mix of things. And after COVID, we really didn't hunt it in the last few years because we hadn't had any activity out there on camera. And so we're like, it might be a waste of time. So we focused on back here behind our house. Well, last summer, her dad, it was June, July. We're getting a whole bunch of deer out, just coming up to the backyard. And there was one time that we're sitting at the dinner table. We're like, look at all those deer. There's 12 deer, and 9 of them were bucks, and 9 of them were
nice bucks.
Bucks. We're like, oh my gosh, we got to start. So we put some cameras out there, and sure enough, all summer long we had these really good bucks. So, and we hadn't even plowed it. We hadn't maintained it at all. Mm-hmm. But they were coming out and eating something. So Heather and I went out there, and we're looking, and underneath the weeds and stuff, we noticed that there's alfalfa growing.
Really?
We're like, oh my gosh, we planted that back in 2020, and it's still growing.
That's crazy.
And they were just hammering that alfalfa.
Really?
Yeah. And so, we had a pretty good year of seeing quality bucks, and I hunted a lot during bow season across the street at her dad's. So, but over here behind our house, we have a farmer that rents out,
Mm-hmm.
the back 13 acres of our property,
Right.
and the thing that we noticed, and he's even done that in the front field here too, that when he mixes it up, he typically mixes it between corn and winter wheat.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as he plants that winter wheat, we get the deer.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we get the deer with corn.
Right.
We'll go out and we'll see 15 to 20 deer with corn.
Yep.
But with winter wheat, it's not out of the question you're going to see 50 deer.
Well, funny you talk about food plots. And I kind of just noticed it this year. It's crazy to see like how many people do custom food plots, and that's like their main source of income.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll work kind of through the season, and then it's all food plots,
Really?
Custom food plots, and people will pay like top dollar for some guys. It's crazy.
Really, food plot for hire.
Right, exactly, and they're running like top of the line equipment. It's crazy.
Yeah, makes your job easy.
Yeah.
That's what I said. And actually, our farmer came to us this year and said, "You need to take as many deer off the property as you possibly can."
Okay.
They are killing And right now, I'm going out back turkey hunting. And I was telling you before we started filming, man, I've got like 3 times that keep coming out, but 100 deer every night.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one time, my last time out, I had a group of like 20 or 30 deer walk right underneath me, and I got to let them go, obviously, because it's not deer season.
Mm-hmm.
But as I was following, the last one went by, I happened to look, and I'm like, oh, there's turkeys right here behind me.
Yeah.
And they ended up following the deer off in the woods, so I couldn't even tell if they were hens or toms or what it might be. So, but man, it's fun just doing stuff like that and playing chess with Mother Nature.
You were talking about farmers, and I actually know a couple guys. Woodchucks are so bad this year. They're
yes, we've seen them everywhere.
Yeah,
more so than
They're paying some guys to go out for the day, and they'll pay them $1 a woodchuck.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They're paying $1 a woodchuck, and I've seen like on Facebook like. People are starting these groups like woodchuck contests, and they'll throw in like little cash pots, but yeah.
So, funny story. When Heather and I first built our house here, we had a woodchuck that was tormenting us.
Okay.
I swear to God, he was straight off of Caddyshack. Like he was in our front yard just dancing, I'm all right, and it just like taunting us. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go
yeah.
So I was sneaking all over the house, trying to around the house, around, you know what I mean? Shooting at him with a bow. I could shoot at him with my gun.
Right.
I'm gonna get this one with my bow.
Yeah.
That one ended up living because I never hit him all year. But so fast forward a few years later, we're in my bedroom and look out the back window. I'm like, oh, there's a woodchuck right out the back window. And I just got a brand new bow. So I'm like, I'm going to shoot this thing. We didn't have any screens in our one, so I slid the bedroom window up and just...
Really?
So I ended up, and those things, oh my gosh, if you've never shot a woodchuck, those things are tough.
Really?
Yeah, I smoked him with my arrow. He ended up pulling the arrow out, spitting it, and kind of looked up and just ran off in the weeds there. And so we're like, are you kidding me? I smoked him. So I went down there, and sure enough, there's blood. So we followed the blood trail right to his hole. We look in the hole, and he's laying in there. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh.
Do I reach in and pull him out? Do I pull up? Heather was like calling me. She's like, come on, you're a sissy. Pull him out. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
Acting like a girl, right? And I'm like, oh, yeah. So I reach in there. I'm like, I'm going to get bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to come out with like one finger on my hand. So I ended up pulling him out, and he was dead, of course. At that point. I'm like, yep, I'm going to get this sucker out.
Hey, you got him.
Heather wouldn't let me get him out. But I have noticed that. I have noticed. So we cleared out a little area here behind our pole barn. Geez, this week we had some friends come over and take a bunch of metal and stuff.
Okay.
There are 3 or 4 woodchuck holes just in that one little area.
So are you going to trap for them?
I'm hoping one shows its face. I got plenty of guns that need some. Or I got a new bow. So, and we do have, we have some kind of back there. I mean, we got woodchuck holes in the horse pen. No horse pen.
Really?
So we had horse pen, dog run. There's like 2 woodchuck holes in the dog run, and there's a couple of woodchuck holes in the. 2 and 2. We had there's 4 in the.
There's 4 in the dog run.
4 in the dog run.
Really?
We got woodchucks everywhere.
I know the horse people hate them too because their horses will step in the holes and break their leg or hurt themselves.
Well,
yeah.
Yep. Well, thankfully, the holes that I've seen are right up against their shelter on the outside.
Okay.
So they don't get that close. So
just take a shovel and quick fill it in.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, or we could trap it like you said.
Right. Yep.
But honestly, I haven't actually seen a woodchuck out here in the yard. We've seen the holes, obviously, but we haven't seen them. And they're fresh holes too, because the soil is. I mean, it's fresh.
I tell you what, going over them holes in the tractor is violent.
Really?
Oh my gosh, terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if you get your head too close to the window, that'll knock you clean out going over one of them.
So Mark is a tractor guy, by the way.
Yeah, if you haven't noticed.
So Heather and I bought a tractor over a year ago now. We need a tractor for our farm. And actually, when we decided that we wanted to get a tractor, Heather's like, I got the perfect person. Mark. And I'm like, okay. So and actually, before we started filming, we were going around and looking at some of my other lawnmowers and stuff like that to see some of them need a tune-up. So he was helping me and looking at it and that sort of thing. So what? Well, I mean, obviously that's one of your hunting, fishing,
right?
Passion.
Yep.
Right? Tractors are your other.
Tractors. I love old tractors, especially. I've got for all you other people that like tractors out there, I got a John Deere 60 at home.
Fall Obsession is based in Texas. So.
Yeah, so there's probably plenty of them. Yeah, I've got a John Deere 60. I bought it in an auction sale for a good price. I've been working on fixing that up. I love working on the older ones at work, like the 4020s, 3010s, stuff like that. It doesn't get much more simple than that. And I know my whole generation says this, but I would give my right arm to be back in the 70s as a farmer, big dairy farmer.
I was in the 70s.
Whoops.
I was young, so I wasn't I was there.
No, but that was just a different time before all the restrictions we have on tractors now. But I love all things tractors. Actually growing up, I wanted to be a farmer. And then I wanted to be a mechanic, and I'm like, hell, why not just combine the two?
Yeah.
be an ag mechanic.
Oh, for sure. And that's how's school going?
Really good, actually. I'm going into my second year, so I'm in a 2-year program that John Deere's putting me through. And I will come out with a associate's degree. That's going really well. It's not all John Deere's program, but most of my classes are John Deere curriculum, and then obviously I got to take core classes like the industrial mathematics and stuff. Yeah. But I mean, stuff you need to obtain a degree. I mean,
English?
Yes, English. Yep, definitely English. So might need Heather's help on that one. No, but it's going great. I've met a lot of really new, cool people. Yeah. It's awesome.
So is it a career field where obviously associates is the first step?
Yep.
Would you continue to go on and get a bachelor's? How does that work? Do they offer good jobs, or what is the job outlook with associates? I know some teachers, for example, would get associates. You're not going to get a teaching job because you have to go and become certified as a teacher, and that typically means you got to get a bachelor's degree.
Right. So I probably wouldn't go forward with college, but with working for John Deere, like you can get specialized. You can take training and get specialized in certain things like Tier 4 emissions, combines, construction equipment. There's a whole list of stuff I could go over that you can get specialized in. So obviously you got to take the classes for it, but it's all John Deere. Exclusively John Deere.
Okay.
So
how do those skills relate to, we were talking, so we don't have John Deere, we got a New Holland.
Yep.
How do those skills kind of transfer over to if you got to work on a New Holland, for example?
Right.
Or, I don't know, what are some of the other ones?
So, Kubota, Mahindra, Case International.
Yeah, any of them. Right?
Yeah, so basically from what I've seen, I mean, they're all really the same. I mean, there's some slight differences. Obviously, they use different parts and stuff like that, but for diesels, you get Judas, I'm sorry, I just had a mini stroke there. No, they're all the same. They're basically all the same. Obviously, there's different parts and stuff like that, but it's if you can work on one, you can pretty much work on them all.
Okay, perfect. Kind of like I would imagine a mechanic mostly, except for what is it, the Subarus.
Oh yeah, yeah.
When I say mechanic, it seems like Subarus are one of the trickier cars to work on.
Oh yeah,
parts and that sort of thing.
Man,
are there tractors like that? Are there like tractors that are? It's so hard to get the parts that it's just really, really tricky. You know what I mean? It becomes more challenging.
I would say some of the foreign ones, like, I don't know, Fendt.
Okay.
Those are a foreign tractor, and I don't know of many dealers, at least in Michigan, but I know some people that own Fendt. I guess I don't really know how hard it is for them to get parts, but I've heard for some of those kind of foreign-made tractors, it is more difficult to get parts.
Yeah, just like cars.
Right, exactly. The
Subaru. So
no, some of them older. I own a 1992 F350 and then a 2011 F150.
Yeah,
and it is just crazy to see how far we've come.
Oh, absolutely.
And in that amount of time, it's nuts. I mean, you got these covers on the new ones and everything. On the old ones, it's all right there.
Turbos.
Yep, exactly.
Turbos. We had a turbo in our F-150 that died on us a couple of years ago, and the turbos. I mean, the turbos went, and we were talking to the dealership and said, "Hey, can we fix the turbos?" They said, "Honestly." And they said, we actually have bigger issues. They said, you need a new engine in it.
Oh.
And so Heather and I were exploring our options on what we can do if we need to replace the engine, if we need to get a new car, or what the case may be. But it was too expensive for us. So we ended up having to get rid of the truck. We had a different dealership offer us some money for a car, for as is.
Right.
And it's kind of a fortunate situation because at the same time, Heather's engine died in her Jeep, so we took that money and we got her a new engine.
Nice.
But I'm stuck with a Jeep Cherokee Sport now, and it's a cute little thing. It's not the truck that I would like as a hunter and a farmer, but it's pretty cute. Not like the Prius that Nick and Drew drove, but it works. So that's how we lost our truck, and we've been in mourning since. So. Can't wait to get another one someday. So
nice.
So, at any rate, well, if you're watching Couch Chats for the first time, check us out on Carbon TV Network. You can also see us on YouTube TV. If you haven't checked out Fall Obsession, we really encourage you to go to the website. We got a lot of good stuff on there. We have a lot of gear reviews. We have recipes. We have stories. We have all kinds of content along with our shop. Really good gear if you guys are looking to update your wardrobe. Very comfortable. So check that out. Thank you for joining us. Mark, Todd, Fall Obsession, stay obsessed.